If you've got people that are really, fantastic at their job, you're creating supercharged AI individuals.
That baseline has just moved up.
We're probably at the dawn of another golden age in advertising. So with the stuff you're doing at the moment at group level with labs, are you seeing anything across the client portfolio in how clients are growing or adapting?
I think clients are starting to realize that they have to have a goal and a vision with regard to an AI and to have an AI strategy.
Yep.
Somebody said to me the other day, AI is not a tool, AI is not a strategy. I think clients are starting to realize that and embrace that. So part of the reason that we set up and configured AI Labs is to ensure that we are addressing the right answers for our clients with the right technology at the right time. So some of the early sort of thought leaders are perhaps getting more sophisticated in what they're asking. Are you seeing something similar from a creative perspective?
Absolutely. I think when putting ideas in front of clients now, it's much easier to get to a visualization that they will appreciate and understand with very little work, in truth. And then it's from those kind of comp stages that you can really accelerate the journey to production. Because, like something like this, a video setup, you can have the setup designed through AI and then tweaked with production people. Within films, you can have live motion storyboards where that was, a considerable amount of work before.
One of the things we talk about as an agency group is that idea of outcomes rather than outputs. Well, we may be able to get the outputs quicker or more streamlined or in a more productive way, but ultimately it's the outcomes that a client cares about.
So it's been, it's fascinating time.
Yeah. I don't think that even with all of the technological disruption of the last 20 years, the fundamentals of marketing have actually changed.
I'd agree with that.
When it comes down to it, it's about understanding who your audience is. It's understanding what messages are going to resonate with that audience. It's about making sure that those messages are felt and heard in the channels or the mediums where that audience is present.
Absolutely. I think you can run more ideas. You can quickly get rid of things that don't work. Whereas before there was an element of leaving it to run for X amount of time. I think that's much quicker. With developments in Meta and how they are now running ads versus to how the ad system worked even a month ago, we're not speaking in terms of stages of funnel anymore. We're speaking about a holistic view of the whole situation and just being kind of present and front of mind at the right time. And in that kind of situation, have you had any conversations with clients about being overwhelmed with the choice, if nothing else?
Well, that's been an ongoing challenge within marketing for ages, whether it's the amount of kind of paid channels that are available to clients. Of course, AI just adds a completely different dimension to all of that. It's a challenge for us as an agency. It's perhaps even more of a challenge for our clients. I think part of the advantage that an agency offers to clients is our ability to be that trusted advisor through all of that. And I think the fact that we have so many experts working in the domain all the time in a way that very few clients are able to achieve means that even in an AI age where it looks like a lot more self-serve may be available, the way in which you self-serve might still be better handled and adapted by an agency. So again, referencing back to what we're doing with AI Labs is a lot of that is about understanding how we best operate those on behalf of our clients, because we still think that there is a USP that we're able to bring, even with all the automation, which automation to use, when to use it, and indeed how to tweak the various styles that are going to feed that AI automation become really, really important.
Self-service tools really just enable people to get things wrong quicker and to spend money faster in the wrong places.
Completely, and I think what we see with AI and all the AI tooling out there is it's creating a new average. It used to be that you could operate at a certain level and that was the baseline, and then now that baseline has just moved upwards. And the ability for a brand to truly differentiate just got much harder. And of course, again, that's exactly what an agency has always been able to bring to the table, is that ability to bring that extra 5%, that extra 10% that's going to supercharge a brand and to supercharge their success.
Yeah.
And I think that's, a lot of people have made wide sweeping predictions about the futures of agencies. I do think agencies will change and adapt, but I certainly can't see a world where an agency completely loses its relevance.
People are learning in systems like GPT that sometimes it lies, sometimes there are biases, and then sometimes it's just factually wrong because of the source it's used.
One of the things some people we've seen within our organization, some of our participants within our AI Labs function have talked about is this kind of amplifying capability of AI. And I guess that's where some of the opportunity and the risk comes from.
Absolutely. Because if if you've hit a vein of success and you can amplify that and, rinse and repeat and just scale, that's fantastic. But equally, if you're using the wrong tooling, relying on the wrong numbers, you can put yourself into the ground faster than ever before. And that's terrifying, really.
Of course. First of all, we've ensured that we have a really clear structure around which AI tools we use and adopt, and how we decide what those AI tools are and how we evaluate them is really important within our organization. We've invested in training for all of our colleagues to ensure that they know what some of the inherent challenges are in AI, the hallucinations, the biases based on the training data that they were fed, and to keep an eye out for those things, to recognize that a human in the loop is a key part of success in an AI-driven era.
The opportunity for amplification when you're dealing with humans is the minute you put AI in their hands, all you're doing is broadcasting what makes that person good or bad. And that's, again, to go back to the scale thing. If you've got people that are really, fantastic at their job, you're creating supercharged AI individuals. But likewise, if you've got people kind of dabbling because they've heard about something that they think might work or might not work, that learning is going to have a real cost.
We talk about this piece internally about whether something is human generated or AI generated. And I think a lot of people treat that as a binary thing. I think there are measures in between, because it's equally possible to have something that is human created, AI edited, or AI generated and human edited, or a co-collaboration. And each of those scenarios is important. It's important to deploy the right scenario for the right use case. We've got a number of services that we offer as an agency group across performance marketing, across web and e-commerce, across data intelligence and marketing automation. And we've been working really, really hard over the last few years to tie some of those things together. And the way that AI presents opportunities to us, and some of the things that we see coming out of AI Labs, is how we can start to infuse that AI story across all of the products. So every developer in our organization has AI-based tooling that makes them more productive, produces higher quality code faster. But what we're starting to see is the fusing of different products. So for example, the relationship between the work we do around GEO and the work we do around SEO are very similar in how they overlap. So some of the recent stuff coming out of the AI Labs in terms of work that is in development is taking the analysis tools that we have for both of those services and putting them together, which we think gives that kind of great connected intelligence for clients, that it's not one thing or the other thing, but being able to combine those things into a coherent whole. And again, I think this is where agencies can possibly add real value to their clients in being able to not just be single channel executors, but start to think about how those channels influence each other and how they relate to each other,
Yeah.
and when to dial up one and when to dial up another. I know, Wes, you've been doing end-to-end campaigns for quite a long time. I'm intrigued to see how you see AI fitting into that start-to-finish style of campaign rather than an ongoing campaign with lots and lots of different channels.
Yeah. We're in a nice position as an agency group where we really kind of cover the 360 life cycle from technology, creativity into that performance element. And you talked about geo there, which is obviously a big part of that. But for us, being able to take ideas and very quickly turn those into things that can impact things like creative campaigns has been a bit of a game changer. And being able to, again, because of the group that we've got, take a stand back full view of how everything is connected, it just makes the ideas so much better.
So you were involved in one of the very first tools that IDHL Labs produced using some AI to do some of that sort of protective analysis of campaigns like that.
So the tool is all around anomaly detection, and that's really what it's looking for. So it's looking at what has gone before, building a model, and then predicting what should be happening next. And if there is a deviation from that path, it will let the specialist know what's going on. So the guys typically were doing that every single day, in the morning, midday, afternoon, kind of check in on the campaign, see how they're going. The need to do that now has just been completely removed. So they'll be notified if there's an anomaly, which just gives them more time to do the good stuff.
And a great way to reduce the risk of another AI intervention running away with a client's campaign and completely destroying it.
So when you're speaking to your client contacts and ultimately the key decision makers, what kind of conversations are you having at the moment to really prepare them for the next 6, 12, 18 months?
I think one of the misconceptions about AI is that you can kind of turn it on, perhaps small, and then grow it, and it's going to transform your business. And there is a degree to which that is true. But one of the things that we see in many organizations is that the structure and availability of their internal data is not what it should be.
Yeah.
And so, ironically, to prepare for an AI age, one of the best things you could do potentially is not to leap straight into AI, but to leap into how do I sort my data out? It's not to say you shouldn't leap straight into AI. And
Well, it
perhaps
sounds
the two
a lot
should
less
happen.
fun.
It sounds a lot less fun. It's a lot less sexy. It's a lot more difficult to get sign off from the board on, I want to go back and fix my data. But the reality is, like any software tool or application, the quality of what you get out is directly proportional to the quality of what you put in. So we're just reflecting back on that sort of idea of what to do for the next 12 months. How important a role do you think the kind of explainability and perhaps transparency of AI is to that conversation?
It's key, right? So teams need to feel like they're going on the journey as well. And you need, the curtain needs to be pulled back. So the organization needs to have a plan. It needs to be well articulated. The outcomes of that plan need to be kind of talked about right at the start so everybody understands where they're going. And just to make sure teams are brought not just on the journey, but they understand and they're bought into why that's happening. Because there's no good in trying to do organizational transformation by bringing in AI, being equipped for AI, unless everybody's already bought into it. We're probably at the dawn of another golden age in advertising. I mean, that's my honest opinion. I think.
And I completely agree, by the way.
Great, that's helpful. But like a long time ago, advertising was an art. It wasn't a transactional, validated process. It was an idea, and there were some good ones, and then there was some terrible ones. But when everybody can do anything all the time, the differentiator there, if it's not the idea or something that is innovative or new, then it's just going to drown in that sea of sameness.
That's a wonderful phrase, sea of sameness. I completely agree with you. I think the ability to stand out is going to become harder and harder. And I think there's a sense in which the value that an agency can bring to a creative conversation increases rather than decreases under that scenario.
It does, and it's going to become a real priority area.
So, for example, the way in which a visual designer uses the AI tooling available to them may be very different to how a project manager or how a content writer uses the tools. So we're trying to ensure that we have area-specific playbooks around that. And then, of course, when it comes to the more technical side of things, we've really tried to embrace an agentic view of the world. And we've really tried to ensure that our colleagues are equipped to create their own agents. More like assistants that supercharge the AI or bring the AI into specific use cases and give them the ability to share those assistants or agents with their colleagues. And so we're really trying to democratize that experience of everybody using AI and ensuring that if somebody does something great using it, we're able to reproduce that quickly and at scale across the organization.
And because that's happening and because people are learning faster and kind of doing more, do you feel like that's having a bit of a knock-on effect when specialists are speaking to clients? And again, go back to that guide situation, really just trying to help them on their journey as well.
I think one of the biggest things is in any role, there are tasks that are a drudgery. And what we're seeing with many of our most capable and experienced experts is that they're using AI to do those things, and that's freeing them up to be able to give more thought, more capacity to the things that really matter for our clients, and to really finesse the work that we're doing and make sure it is the highest standard it can possibly be. And so I'm absolutely certain that the productivity capability that AI is bringing us is already delivering quality benefits for our clients. And that's what our staff report as well, is that they are generally happier in their roles when they're using AI.
I think that's totally true. I think once you get past the scare factor of it, people are starting to realize, you don't want AI to do your job, you want AI to do the dishes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of leveling it out now.
Yeah, well, I mean, the task that we've used a few times is that AI is coming for your tasks, not for your job. And I think that rings true in a lot of the areas of our business.
So with IDHL Labs now, how much do you feel this is a necessity?
Yeah, I mean, right now it absolutely is. We're in a world where the rate of change has suddenly sped up significantly. And perhaps 2 or 3 years ago, we didn't need a specific vehicle. Perhaps in 2 or 3 years' time, we won't need a specific vehicle. But right now, it is so important that we are able to cut through all of the noise, all of the rhetoric, all of the empty promises, and ensure that we are delivering tangible, real products to our clients.
So going in it with eyes open, with a proper plan, like we're doing with IDHL Labs,
completely,
is the right thing to do at the right time.
Yeah, and bringing some structure and some governance and some guardrails to it, some of those things that you wouldn't necessarily think about if you were a small startup, just playing with whichever tool was launched this week. And so hopefully we've got something more of a kind of a structured approach to what we're doing that we fully believe is going to deliver some really good results.
That's a great ending, that bit. Well done. Very good.
Golden age of advertising, I love it.